Hello there guys and welcome back to my channel for a video that, well, it's just a really depressing video, mainly. That's what it is first and foremost, because what happened last night, it took a lot of, I don't know, just optimism, motivation, just like any sort of positivity from me. And, that has also fueled some other anger within me that usually I can just cope with and don't really care about. But now, with what has happened, I'm just furious and I'm angry because obviously everything started with Ruben Loftus-Cheek last night in our, friendly, in our charity game with the New England Revolution in the US, getting injured, and not just picking up any sort of injury, but no, rupturing his Achilles. His Achilles tendon is pretty much exactly like Callum Hudson-Odoi did a couple of weeks ago. Of course, if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. That will be massively appreciated. We're on like 3,800 something. So if we could hit 4,000 subscribers, well, in the next few days, in the next week or whatever, that would be incredible. So like I say, if you are new here and you do enjoy my content, please do subscribe. Tell your mates about it. Tell everyone about it that you know, and tell them to subscribe. That'd be great. Drop a like on this video, and of course, leave me all of your thoughts on everything that I am going to mention down in the comment section below. But like I said, yes, Chelsea played against the New England Revolution in Boston, I think, yesterday for a charity game, I guess, basically a charity against anti-Semitism. It was all basically organised by Roman Abramovich and, of course, the club. And the idea itself and the initiative of the game itself, I find really good, because I think Chelsea has been connected to, anti-Semitic chants, racism, and, similar things, if you will, way too much in the recent just the recent history, I guess. So I think it's good that Chelsea want to stand up for it. And as far as I'm aware, over $4 million or £4 million or whatever were raised for all sorts of charities helping against those problems, which is obviously great. And that is very good. The problem only was the timing of that game being between the end of the Premier League season and the Europa League final. Of course, that game was set many months ago, officially I think in January, but it might have been longer ago. And, that is obviously the problem here. But at the same time, there's a lot of things we can talk about. I'm going to come to that later because, that what I'm going to speak about now kind of leads into that. And like I say, we played them. We won the game 3-0. All right, great. Who really cares at the end of the day? Barkley scored early on. Then Giroud scored. And then kind of Barkley scored again, even though Higuain basically just shot at Barkley and it went in, in the goal from Barkley's foot, even though he knew nothing about it. But that was that. The pitch was absolutely disgraceful. It was as dry as, I don't know, I'm not sure what it was, but there was stuff flying around with every step that a player took. It literally looked like dust was coming out of the grass with every step they took. So it was a ridiculously bad pitch, and that obviously didn't help. Now, when we saw the lineup, we started with pretty much our strongest team. Loftus-Cheek didn't start, but other than that, it was pretty much our strongest team. Hazard started, Giroud, Pedro, Kovacic, Jorginho, Ross Barkley, David Luiz, Christensen, Kepa, Zappacosta, and Marcos Alonso started as well. And then in the second half, we made substitutions with still some of our really, really strong players. Higuain came on, Willian came on for Hazard, Loftus-Cheek came on, what's his name? Azpilicueta came on, Emerson came on. So obviously Caballero came on as well. And then later on in the game, we brought on some youngsters as well, Gallagher, Reece James, which was really good to see. Trevor Chalobah as well, which was good. But and also Rob Green, which was quite funny, for like 2 minutes or whatever, his first appearance since, his heroic penalty shootout performance against Lyon in the International Champions Cup or whatever it's called last summer in pre-season. Anyway, Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on and he got injured, without any real impact by the opposition. Yesterday he was in kind of a duel, but he wasn't even fouled. Like, it was kind of just a bad step, similar to how Hudson-Odoi did it. Like, he miscontrolled the ball, tried to lunge after it, and then he did it. And Loftus-Cheek was just in a duel, like I say, and tried to, I don't know, stretch to keep the ball or whatever. And I don't know, he just went down and held his ankle, his Achilles, and then he had to obviously come off. And a few hours later we saw him, with a strap or whatever, brace around his ankle and around his foot, I guess, and just walking around with crutches. And then this morning we got confirmation that he did actually rupture his Achilles. Similar as with, the situation was with Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm telling you now, even though all the reports are saying, oh, he might miss this, he might be out until 2020. No, he will not be out until 2020, because let me tell you again, if you didn't watch those videos back then, if you fully rupture your Achilles, in my opinion, the word rupture is the wrong word to use here, unless, again, I'm not English, so my English vocabulary is not perfect. It's pretty good considering I'm a foreigner, but it's not perfect. Either way, He didn't fully rupture, because when you do fully rupture your Achilles, it doesn't matter who you are, no matter whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, how much of a pain tolerance you have, it is totally irrelevant. When you rupture your Achilles, you're not lying there in a bit of pain and just looking, in pain. You're screaming out of agony. Trust me, you're screaming out of agony. And also, you cannot put the slightest gram of weight on your bloody ankle, on your bloody foot. And Ruben did. Yes, he didn't fully walk off, but, he had his arms around the physios that helped him off, that, just, I don't know, supported him while walking off. And he did try to put more and more pressure on, obviously trying to feel out how bad it is. And yes, he looked in pain, but he wasn't screaming from it, and he consistently, every step, put a bit of weight on it. He definitely didn't completely tear apart and rupture apart his Achilles tendon. Definitely did not happen. Similar with Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's probably going to be out 4, maybe 5 months, possibly a bit shorter, possibly a bit longer. It always depends on how rehab goes and how quickly the healing process, I guess works. I don't know. But he certainly didn't rupture it fully. Like, for example, Laurent Koscielny for Arsenal ahead of the World Cup, last summer, he ruptured his Achilles completely. He was out for a really, really long time. That's not the situation with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and neither is it with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Of course, you can never be certain about the extent of the injury. You can never be certain about how long the recovery process is going to take. But I do know from doctors that I spoke to, from friends that study medicine that are very far into their, degree, I guess, that, what I'm telling you about Achilles rupturings, is that the word? I don't know, is true. I was there as well once when a mate of mine ruptured his Achilles. And trust me, there was no chance in hell, no adrenaline in hell could make him walk, could make him put any sort of, weight on it. Also, let's not forget, it wasn't like the Champions League bloody final. It was a random friendly game in a sense. So the adrenaline in Ruben wasn't exactly the highest anyway. But, of course, that leads me to the next one, because how depressing is that? I love Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's by far my favourite Chelsea player these days. Whether we have Hazard or not, completely irrelevant to me. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is my favourite Chelsea player. I love the guy, and it's just absolutely devastating. Like, what is going on? At the start, earlier in the season, October, November time, he finally got running in the games, played every Europa League game, came on in every Premier game, got a good amount of games for the first time really in his Chelsea career, and then had the back problems come back up. Was out with that for a month, then came back for a game or two, was out again for another few weeks, and then finally got his run again, started multiple Premier League games in a row, started in the big Europa League semi-final against Frankfurt, started the big games, was arguably our best player alongside Hazard, in some games better than Hazard, and more important than Hazard, and that's not something to say lightly, because Hazard is up there with the best 5, for sure, players in the world. Possibly he's the second best player in the world. That can be debated. Always difficult to compare, say, a centre-back like Van Dijk to Hazard, an attacker and a winger. But still, it's just really disappointing. And the same with Hudson-Odoi. He finally got game time. At the start, it's like, oh, he's only getting game time because Bayern are interested in him and the club are making Sarri play him and whatever. Then he finally got in the team and played regularly on merit, and then he picks up this injury. And now it's the same with Loftus-Cheek. I mean, he played such a huge part in getting us to the Europa League final. I mean, he scored in both legs. Did he? No, he didn't. But he assisted the goal away at Frankfurt. But then he scored in the home league against Frankfurt. And, to take us to the final of the Europa League. And he scored plenty of goals throughout the competition and played really well. This was his final. This was his trophy to win. And quite frankly, I might say different things in a week's time. But right now, I'm like, without Ruben, we stand no chance at all to beat Arsenal. Like, no chance. I just don't see that happening. And it's just depressing. I just really feel really bad for him. And here, I just want to say, get well soon, Ruben. I mean, we need you. Come back stronger. You need to come back stronger. You can't be worse off. Sort your back out while you're out injured anyway. So it's just devastating. Absolutely devastating. And I hope he gets, well soon. And I hope it's not as serious as we're hoping now. I'm not sure they've had a proper scan yet. I'm assuming they have. But, that's the information we have anyway. But now getting on to what angers me with all of this. Because he gets injured. Of course, everyone loses their shit and blames Sarri. Of course, why is he starting a strong team? And then, okay, I can understand why he started a strong team. But why is he started playing a strong team in the second half as well? The second half should have been only youngsters. I mean, do you have any sort of clue what you're on about? I'm sorry, mate, but this game was organised by Roman Abramovich himself. Roman Abramovich attended the game. This is the first game all season of any sort of game he's attended. No Premier League game, no Europa League game, no Cup game. Roman Abramovich has not attended any game. Of course, he has the political issues with England, and this game was in England. But some of the Europa League games were in England. He could easily have just flown out to Germany and be at the Frankfurt game, but he wasn't. He came here, though, because, the game was to help charities that work against anti-Semitism. And Roman Abramovich, if you didn't know, is Jewish. So obviously that is something very important to him. And even when that, and rightly so, of course. And even when this whole fixture was announced, the basically article or whatever we had about it basically states already that it was agreed that we would travel with our strongest team. Obviously, it was clearly orders from above to Maurizio Sarri to play a strong squad. I mean, you only have to listen to Maurizio Sarri's interview after the Europa League game against Frankfurt, already complaining about this game in the US yesterday now. This didn't fit his plan whatsoever. Didn't fit his plan. And then there's a video as well when Ruben is injured on the other side of the pitch. He's just throwing, like, I don't know what it was, like a jumper or whatever, or a notebook, just throwing it down clearly out of anger, saying, for fuck's sake, now he's injured. You know, what do I do now? He's one of my most important players. This is not on Sarri. And, you know, you're not going to, I'm not going to accept anyone telling me, oh, Sarri should have played someone else in the second half. No, this is orders from above. You know, when you play a game like that and you want to make it about charity, imagine we turn up there and play some 18-year-olds. I mean, everyone, the media, all the haters, everyone is going to say, well, Chelsea didn't take the charity for anti-Semitism that seriously then. If they only played the youngsters, you know, they could have played the strongest squad to make a real statement. You know, imagine that. That would have backfired on us completely. Also, the fans that turn up to those games. You know, have you ever been to a preseason game? I have. If you haven't, trust me, if there's not any good players playing, you're a bit annoyed because you're like, you know, you travel there. If it's not right in your town, a lot of them American fans probably travel there. They paid the good money to watch the game as well. And then you're not seeing any good players. You're annoyed. You know, you want to see the good players. As much as the timing of it is stupid, you know, you can't just not play the guys then. And, you know, a lot of other players played. Hazard played a full half. Jorginho played the entire bloody game. I mean, the poor guy just have no one to replace him. Ampadu is still out, of course, you know. Azpilicueta played and he came on. You know, Christensen played the entire game. None of those got injured, so no one's betting an eyelid for them playing. But because Ruben got injured, everyone's annoyed at that, and I understand it. I'm not saying I don't understand. And of course, the dreadful pitch, you know, didn't help the situation either. But at the end of the day, blaming Maurizio Sarri for this is absolutely ridiculous. What is the problem here is that this game was even set in the first place at this time. You know, the likelihood of us playing in the Europa League final wasn't like the smallest. I'm not 100% certain when this game was set. You know, you just shouldn't, you know, set a game like this. At the same time, though, if you think about it, we had 2.5 weeks since the Leicester game until the Europa League final against Arsenal in Baku. 2.5 weeks. You have to play games. You have to, you know, not regain, but kind of keep your match fitness going because you're not used to that. If you don't play games but only train for 2.5 weeks, you're going to lose quite a bit of sharpness up until the final. I'm not sure what Arsenal are going to do, but, you know, you need it. And in training, I guarantee you that they will play plenty of 11v11 games anyway. And, you know, when you hear professionals or even ex-professionals talk about how training goes at the clubs, training is at times harder than, well, most certainly friendly games, but even some competitive games, you know, tougher challenges that is really competitive. So, you know, it's not exactly, okay, statistically, of course, there's more injuries coming from, you know, competitive games than from training, but not from friendly games. Not that many players get injured in friendly games, actually. And also, if you look at it, Arsenal, not too long ago, went to Dubai for like a training camp in a sense and played one or two, I'm not sure how many, but certainly one friendly there. Just when I think it was a FA Cup weekend in between two Premier League games, they had like 10 or 12 or whatever days off. And they went away, did some training. I mean, it backfired on them completely, league form-wise. Got them to the Europa League final, but backfired on them league form-wise because, you know, they bottled it and finished 5th. But still, they did that. And Dubai isn't exactly that much further and that much closer to London than, for example, Boston is. Even the time difference isn't that much different. So, you know, in that sense, you can even say even flying to Boston is acceptable. The pitch, that is a problem. Can you know how bad the pitch is going to be when you set the game up? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know that stadium. I don't know if there is always a bad pitch or if usually better. I have no idea. But, you know, if you can criticize anybody, it's Roman Abramovich and the board for Ruben Loftus-Cheek's injury because he set that game up. They set that game up. Not Maurizio Sarri. Not Maurizio Sarri. Don't blame Maurizio Sarri for, you know, playing him at some point. That is not Maurizio Sarri, and people just need to shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, but it's really starting to piss me off. You know, that Sarri's getting the blame for fucking everything. I mean, it's just so infuriating. But again, let me come back to this. It is annoying, and the timing wasn't great of it, but you needed games anyway. You know, you needed friendlies. To play a friendly isn't bad. Of course, it would have been better to have it in England or at least somewhere else in Europe. But, you know, it's not that much further, so I don't think it's as simple as criticizing the game itself. Criticizing, you know, the pitch and the location. You know, obviously, like I say, America isn't great, could have been better, but it isn't the end of the world. It's not like that's what made Ruben Loftus-Cheek injured because no one else got injured. And it's not like if he injured his back, I could understand everyone's frustrations because why did Sarri play him? His back is clearly not fine and he didn't really need to play a friendly, but he didn't injure his bloody back. You know, he injured his Achilles tendon, and he had never had any problems with that. So it's a completely, you know, out of the blue injury that no one can predict. And it could have been anyone. It could have been Hazard, people would have been annoyed. It could have been Jorginho, and people probably would have been bloody happy if he was injured. Do you know what I mean? Or Kovacic, or Barkley, or Pedro, or Willian. People probably would have been happy. But now it is Loftus-Cheek, or if it was Hazard, like I say, or I don't know, David Luiz or Christensen or whoever, they would have been bloody furious, or Emerson. But this is what we have. And you know, this video is probably going to be a bit longer than I intended it to be. Basically checking how long it is. Already pretty long. So I'm only going to touch on it very, very briefly. But in the last couple of days, there have been reports coming out of Italy from multiple sources there that possibly, even if Chelsea do win the Europa League, and even if we don't win it, there is a good chance that Chelsea might actually still sack Maurizio Sarri simply because Roman Abramovich is not happy with the toxicity within the fan base since his appointment, and especially obviously since the turn of the year. And that's quite frankly ridiculous. He achieved every single fucking target that was given to him by the club. Apparently that was a semi-final in the Europa League and finishing top 4. We did finish top 4, made the final of the Europa League, and adding to that, we also made the final of the League Cup. Yes, we lost that, but we lost that very unfortunately on penalties, and arguably were a better team over the 120 minutes. And yes, penalties is the lottery. You know, we could have lost against Frankfurt in the semi-final, but we didn't. We won. And the same, we could have won against Man City in the final, but didn't, and we lost. You know, that's just how penalty shootouts go. It's as simple as that. But the fact that the hate fans are giving Maurizio Sarri, completely unjustified hate for the most part. Yes, I understand you were promised better football and we're not playing, the football that we're playing isn't as nice as you were promised. And I agree with that. I would have loved some better football this season. Well, I can guarantee you, well, I'm hoping I'm not wrong again, but I can guarantee you that next season the football will be better. Of course, we're going to struggle without Hazard if we can't replace him. And even if we don't have a transfer ban, we can't replace Hazard like that anyway. You know, we're just not going to get a play of his ability. It's just as simple as that. And he's going to go to Real Madrid. I think we all, you know, should accept that by now if there's still someone that doesn't, you know, sort yourself out. So there is going to be struggles. But what more could you possibly expect from this season with the squad we have compared to Man City, Man United, and especially, you know, Liverpool, and especially Man City? What more can you expect in finishing third? I don't care how far we're off. We finished third. What more can you possibly want? I don't care if it's because Arsenal and United were shit. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We finished third. After 38 games, we finished third. No one's shit over 38 games. They're as good as they are over 38 games. We were as good as we are over 38 games, and we finished third. So we deserve to finish third. It's as simple as that. You know, that's how a league campaign works. That's why a league campaign, it's more difficult to win a league title than it is to win a Champions League title, even though the opponents might be more tricky. Although I say that, I mean, look at the teams we played in the Carabao Cup: Liverpool, Spurs, and then Man City. I mean, Liverpool and Spurs are playing each other in the Champions League final. Of course, against Liverpool, we played not their best side, but we didn't play them with our best side either. So, you know, but still, winning a league title is, in a sense, more difficult than winning a Champions League or Europa League because you need more consistency, because it's not 13 or 15 games, it's 38 games. And, you know, it's not about you win and you can just scrape it out. You need to do week in, week out, and gain your points and gain your points and gain your points. That's why Barcelona win league titles in Spain, and Real Madrid, because they have big game players that just turn up, until Ronaldo left, I guess, won the Champions League out of like every single time basically, when they weren't even that good. But yeah, don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I'm just furious. Stop hating Sarri. It's ridiculous. Stop telling me because he's not playing Jorginho, Kante in a DM. We don't even play a bloody DM. And Kante has in his life for Chelsea never played as a single DM. He's always played in a 2, in a 4-2-3, in a 3-4-3. He's not a single DM. He was a box-to-box midfielder in that as well. So what? He's doing nothing different than he was then. He's not doing nothing different now. He's just playing a bit more further up the pitch. But the reason why he's playing further up the pitch is because as a team, we're playing further up the pitch. His actual position, it's just Jorginho is steeper than Kante used to be. Kante is actually not that far from where he usually was under Conte in a 3-4-3, like I say. Just as a team, we're playing higher up the pitch because we're not that pragmatic and defensive anymore, which, you know, people should be happy about. You know, I can understand that we didn't score as many goals as you would have liked, maybe, but still, we're playing better football and we're trying to make it better and better and better. It's not going to happen within one season. I keep bringing this argument up. Pep Guardiola finished third in his first season. Look at what he's doing now. Are we going to do that next season? Of course we're not, because we're not going to give Sarri the funds that he needs to do something like Guardiola. Is he as good as Guardiola? No. No one's saying he is. But he's still a very good manager. And no one out there, currently, whether we lose Hazard or not, is going to make us, you know, be any particularly better. The only way we'd keep Hazard if somehow we managed to get Zidane away from Real again. You know, Real Madrid. That's the only way anything positive could still happen. Like, No, I'm furious. Like I say, I mean, honestly, usually I don't care about people hating on Sarri or whatever. I'm just like, shut up and talk what you want. It's your opinion. I don't care. But at some point, when I hear that Sarri might actually get sacked because of all of the hate within the stadium and obviously on social media as well, I'm sure the club know about this. It pisses me off. It is unjustified and it pisses me the fuck off. I don't care what you're on about bloody Higuain. You don't bloody know how it would have been had we signed him last summer when Sarri actually wanted him, rather than in January. You know, he's only had 4 months, realistically. It's bloody May. He joined late January. It's only 4 months. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It pisses me off. But guys, you know, I went on a rant. I went on a rambling session. I talked about a lot of things. Can't speak anymore now. I spoke about a lot of things. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, just get better soon. This video is way too long. It annoys me already anyway, but, you know, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Like I say, subscribe to my channel if you're new. I massively appreciate that. Drop a like on this video. Drop a like, you know, if you're disappointed that Loftus-Cheek's injured. Drop a like if you agree with me that the Sarri hate just needs to stop. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the club. It doesn't help the players. It doesn't help our success. There's no point. If we sack him now, we'd just be wasting more money on managers' compensation that instead we could spend on signing good players rather than some more Drinkwaters or some more, I don't know, Barclays. You know, we could invest that money more, well, with more purpose if we don't have a transfer ban. And even if we do, you know, we can do it in another window later on, because once the money is wasted on managers' compensation, it's gone. You know, you're not going to get it back out of nowhere. So, you know, it's just no point. Stop hating on Sarri if it's unjustified. You can criticise, yes, but you can criticise if you use your bloody brain to it, and not telling me that Kante should be playing at DM and then we'd out of nowhere bloody beat Man City. No. Fuck off. It pisses me off. Just shut your fucking mouth. Honestly, it pisses. Honestly, I'm usually like very PG and like, you know, politically correct. I'm like, yeah, it's your opinion. Nah, it's too much. It's pissing me off. And Ruben is injured and now fucking Sarri's getting annoyed. I'm bloody glad I'm not going to back up because no one else is. Because without Ruben, I don't even bloody want to. Bloody Ruben. I love Ruben. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I don't know when I'll see you next. So, up to Chelsea, upwards and onwards. Get well soon, Ruben. And I'll see you when I see you.